Does anyone else feel like to actually understand what is going on with the EU, you need a PhD in economics and politics and modern history? If you live in the UK, then right now you're probably getting a load of these sorts of things coming through your post. In these leaflets, you see an awful lot of numbers and statistics that help to illustrate each side's points about whether the EU is a good thing or a bad thing, whether we should stay, whether we should leave. But the problem with this sort of information is that it is so easy to manipulate how you're phrasing a statistic to make it mean whatever you want it to. Just because these state that these are facts, it doesn't necessarily mean they are useful or relevant facts. They may well be, but I don't necessarily know that. What I want is for whichever side who wins this referendum to have won it fairly by giving people actual information and not skewing it either way by misrepresenting the facts. And it is really, really difficult to get information that doesn't feel like it is leaning towards one side or the other. I can't tell you which way to vote and I cannot tell you where to get the most accurate information, but what I can do is give you a bit of advice on how to understand the statistics and see for yourself whether it looks like this might actually be bending the truth a little bit. For an example, I'm going to use a statement from this leaflet which states that more than half of net migration to the UK is from the EU. There are two potential flaws with this statement. The first of which, more than half, really, really vague statement, should not be in this sort of information. The problem now is the use of the term net migration. This doesn't mean the total number of people who've entered the country. Net migration is everyone who's entered the country minus everyone who's left the country equals net migration. Let's just pick some easy numbers out of the air to plug into this equation to demonstrate how this could potentially be misleading. So say 100 people moved to the UK. 20 people in the same time period moved out of the UK. So you have a net migration of 80. Now, if half of net migration, or more than half of net migration, was from the EU, you could say 41 of those people, which is half of net migration plus a little more, that is the number of people who came from the EU. However, clearly that's less than half of the total migration. So, still you might say that that's a large number of people, but I don't know what the actual numbers are. It could be significantly higher proportion than that, and it might be less. But this information in this statement doesn't tell us that. Statistics are really, really complicated and so easy to phrase in a way that misleads or indicates something that isn't really actually there in the statistic itself. There's an experiment using this sort of principle that I've seen on a few occasions. My favourite version of it was having people choose between two bacon sandwiches, because nothing says Britain like a bacon bap. One of the bacon sandwiches said that eating this would give you a 6% chance of developing bowel cancer in your life. And the other one said it would increase your chances of getting bowel cancer by 20%. Most people will quite happily take a sandwich from the total 6% pile because 6% is quite low, it's fine, it probably won't happen to them, they're not really that bothered. But nobody really took it from the 20% because that sounds scary. Increasing by 20% sounds quite dramatic. However, it was then revealed to the people in the experiment that actually it's the same food that was in their sandwiches, and this is actually just a rephrasing of the same statistic. By eating processed meat in a study that had taken place, it was shown that there was an increase in the risk of developing bowel cancer. And it went from a 5% chance to a 6% chance. So the first sandwich is correct, 6% chance of getting bowel cancer. And also the second one is correct because an increase from 5% to 6% is a 20% increase. It just sounds a lot scarier. You see this sort of principle applied all the time. Whenever I see anything that says an increase of a certain percentage, tell me what the starting number is. If it's already a large number, that's a big increase. If it's a small number, it's a small increase. And if they want to make this sound scary or like a massive change, they won't tell you the start. What you have to remember is, if they could keep it really simple and to the point and still prove their point, then they would. So please, do vote on the 23rd of June and make sure you are voting for the side that you think makes sense and that you're not being swayed by some broad sweeping statements.